All right. Finally, it worked. Sorry for the delay, but AP Psych students, testers, hope the first day of testing went well. Also, good luck to those who are taking tests today. And good luck to those who will take them the rest of the week. So we're going to do AP Psych exam prep number 10. Okay, so we're going to finish up the last two chapters, and then tomorrow and Thursday I'll have just some things to kind of help or consider and navigate you with the free response answers. But again, we've been practicing since semester, so as long as you keep kind of the same format, using the same skills, same process, same procedure as we've been doing, I think you're going to have good success. So anyway, I hope AP testing is going well. And again, if you need anything from me, make sure you email me or contact me. Also, check Canvas on your AP testing survival guide. Get some links. Got some links in there that will really, really help. Don't forget to practice, do your run through right before you take the test. Although those of you who are already taking AP exams, you're probably going to be ready for it and you'll be familiar with it. Okay. All right, so we're going to do 14 and 15, okay? And remember this year that the AP curriculum stops at chapter 15. So 16, 17, and 18 are not going to be covered on the test, okay? All right, so 14 is going to be pretty simple. 14 is stress and health, all right? Now, if you remember, if you go back to your AP learning targets, 12, 13, 14, and 15 are all together, okay? 14 is going to continue on just like 12 and 13. It's going to be a vocab chapter, so just make sure, again, not that much vocab, but make sure you know it in case they use a vocab term to throw into one of your 8 tasks for free response number 1, which I think is what they'll probably do. And I also think it's not going to be one from each chapter. It'll probably be one from 12, 13, and 14 is what they'll do, okay? So stress and health, make sure you, again, review your learning targets. There's not that many. Actually, there's only one, really, in your vocab. Okay, so the AP learning target for stress and health talks about the theories of stress. So there are several mixed into the chapter. So you have again, the different tracks. So track 1, and then track 2. If the stress remains, we have track 2. So if you remember the video of the guy who passed out on the roller coaster or the slingshot, start with track 1. And then track 2 kicks in if the stressor doesn't leave. You got the general adaptation syndrome, GAS, from Hans Saley, Dr. Saley. And then again, the main stressors are life events and catastrophes. Okay. So keep that in mind. And then just be aware of psychological and physical effects of stress. I think that's the big thing that they want you to know. I think that's really where they're going to hit. So just know some examples of psychological impacts of stress, okay, which was actually one of the questions that we asked. Remember, we did a little survey and then compared it to national data on high school students. And psychological impacts were, becoming quiet, isolated, depressed, agitated, those types of things, okay? And then physical effects of stress, again, we asked that. So those were headaches. I think the top 3 were headaches, fatigue, tiredness, and then some type of pain, tension, and your back or in a specific area, also stomach issues. Okay, so that's kind of what they're looking for. I think they want you to know, the College Board wants you to know, and always have in the past questions about, that stress is a physical and psychological illness, and that the effects of it on your body can produce those symptoms. Okay. All right. So find your learning target and look at your theories of stress real quick, and then just make sure you have this, and you should be pretty good there for chapter 14. Okay. All right. All right. Chapter 15, which was personality. So again, this is going to be a big name chapter. All right. So again, 4, 8, 11, and 15, okay, are big name chapters. So make sure, again, we have a lot in personality because we have a lot of personality theories. And then you have a lot of names associated with those theories, okay? So make sure you go back and look at your AP notebook for your names there for chapter 15. Okay, research methods to measure personality and traits. So again, I think that gets confused with the assessments. So remember that the research methods go to the trait theory, Dr. Cattell, and you're going to want to look at their, because that's trait theory. Again, they're not trying to explain where the traits come from. They're just trying to explain and be able to measure the traits, okay, and identify them. So research methods, again, would be like your factor analysis. So, looking at all this personality information and trying to pull the core traits, okay? Remember the debate between core traits and surface traits, okay, or source traits and surface traits. So trait theory wants to measure the source traits, the core traits, those traits that are enduring, right, that last, and there's not that many of them. So they're trying to identify those traits. So again, introvert, extrovert, optimism, pessimism, those are some of the ones that they're looking at in pairs, or like you have your big 5 personality test. Those are your 5 source traits, core traits. Okay, so we're trying to identify what those are, and your theories in there have anywhere from 2 to 8 probably. So, factor analysis, deciphering between source and surface traits, measuring source traits, that's what they're looking for there with the research methods, okay? So that's mainly the trait theory. So review the trait theory, and you should have your information that you need there, okay? Compare and contrast the different theories of personality. So again, this is where a lot of your names are going to come up. So again, we did psychoanalytic theory with Freud. We did humanistic theory with Rogers and Maslow. We did the social learning or behavioral cognitive theory with Bandura. We did behavioristic theory with Watson and Skinner. Trying to think. We did trait theory, okay, with Cattell. All right, so those are the ones that you kind of need to look at. So just go back and look at your theories, and then make sure you pull the names from each of the personality theories that we looked at, okay? All right, then cultural influences on personality. So there's that cultural term again. They're bringing it back. So anything that has more than one underline on it, again, remember, it's been mentioned more than once. So if there are key terms you need to be aware of. So again, know how culture influences personality. So you should be able to have a variety of ways, and we gave a variety of examples of that in your AP Learning Targets. So look at that. And most of you, I think, were able to just do that on your own without any information from the book. So you were able to identify culture and how it influences personality testing, label of traits, development of personality, what are accepted traits or promoted traits, normal traits, so on and so forth. And then don't forget self-concept, okay? So again, self-concept is my sense of self, okay? Do I know who I am, right? Okay, so that's a big term, psychological term that's used a lot on the tests. College Board likes to point it out. And again, remember self-efficacy, which is kind of the other part of that, is then what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses, okay? And those are all part. My self-concept is knowing who I am, right? Know who I am. And you guys are developing that at this age in development, okay? But know that personality is a big factor of self-concept, right? Okay, so it helps me, if I know my personality, then I'm obviously gained information on my self-concept. And then assessments in personality with validity and reliability. So we've hit these terms very hard, okay? So validity is, does the test or the assessment measure what it's supposed to measure? Does it measure core traits, right? Source traits or surface traits? If I'm giving you a test on extrovert, introvert, does the test really measure that? And then reliability, again, is will I get the same results? If I repeat it, will I get the same results over and over? So we want to get personality tests in which if I take the Big 5, or if I take the Enneagram, if I take the character personality trait test, will I get the same results over and over and over? Okay, that means that it's reliable. Okay, all right. So, and just know the different types. We, again, objective versus projective tests here. We talked about, and you guys on your labs know some famous tests that are out there. I mentioned those. But you also have, remember, your projective test, so the ink blot, thematic apperception test, TAT, MMPI, multiple Minnesota multiphasic personality inventory, the Big 5, yeah. So there were some that we mentioned there specifically. And then again, these two terms were brought up in intelligence, chapter 12, or 11, excuse me, and also chapter 1 in research. So, these are big terms. This one was brought up in development, also in motivation, because it's a big humanistic term, self-concept. Remember, self-concept plus self-efficacy leads to self-actualization. Okay, the big humanistic formula, so remember that. Okay. All right, so again, there are also, personality is not, this is a 2 to 4% here, and then this is a like 5 to 7% here. So personality is usually not one of the heavy hit ones, all right? But, and I think there's only like 5 AP learning targets, but they all basically center on the theories, assessment, the methods, which is the trait theory, and then cultural influences, okay? All right. All right, so with that, again, I'll take a picture and send it out. We have covered all of the curriculum, so we kind of reviewed it. And we've reviewed all the curriculum that's going to be on the test. So then tomorrow and Thursday, we'll just spend times, I'll just kind of give you some examples, again, of test questions. But again, you have tons of those resources available to you. I know that testing session has already started, the national testing period. But again, Fiveable, the College Board. I know you're getting emails from College Board, from Dr. Camp. You have the survival guide on Canvas for this class. Go practice, take past tests, and so on and so forth. And then just also remember what we have been doing since the semester is I've been gearing and teaching you this process of how to apply and incorporate, multifaceted questions or free response level questions. So, you should be fine, but just make sure you review that process. So I'll kind of give you we'll kind of work through some together, okay? All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Sorry, again, it was a little bit late. I wasn't connecting. I think it's a rough afternoon for technology, but if you have any questions, let me know.